Hi, and welcome to What's the T in L&E. I'm Leah, and today I have a special guest, one of my awesome colleagues, Patrick Bolling.
Thank you for having me.
Patrick is also a management side employment lawyer with Woods Rogers Van Deventer Black, and we are here in Charlottesville, Virginia at one of our annual HR seminars, Get Back on Track. So today we're going to be talking to you about what not to put in your job postings. So Patrick, what should we not be putting in job postings?
I think you absolutely want to avoid using any sort of coded language that could serve as pretext evidence in a discrimination suit. So what might that mean? You could use language that you're searching for in a job requisition, someone who's early career, or you're searching for a digital native.
Someone who's hip, right?
Right.
You might be hip though. And you're
I
not.
don't know about that one.
Yeah.
But,
or someone with a long runway, right? Someone who could be at the workplace for a long period of time. That all screens out older workers.
Right, and so even if you don't have the intent to discriminate, all this language could be piled up around different circumstances to prove that maybe this case should go before a jury.
Yeah, so when someone files a claim for failure to hire, what happens in a real lawsuit is that all they have to do is go to a courthouse and put down on a piece of paper that I wasn't hired because of my gender, because of my age, because of my race. And then the burden shifts to the employer. And the employer has a burden of production. They have to actually produce evidence showing that the real reason they didn't hire that person was they weren't the most qualified candidate. And here are all the applications, here's the answers to interview questions, here's the evidence. But that's not the end of the story. The burden shifts back to the applicant one last time, who gets to say, you employer, you're a liar. And they get to show a couple of things that could constitute pretext evidence.
Right, and so not only could they point to this sort of coded language, they might couple that with some unkind comments from a supervisor that have a discriminatory bent to them, or they could also look at your statistics about your workforce to show that maybe you tend to hire younger workers.
Yeah, or did you actually hire a 22-year-old instead of the 50-year-old applicant that didn't get the job? So a couple of best practices. Make sure all of your job postings are screened by at least 2 managers or a central HR department so that we can make sure there are 2 eyes, or 4 eyes, I guess, looking at every job posting to screen out or get rid of those coded words.
And make sure that those managers are trained in fair employment practices.
Awesome. Well, it's been another great episode of What's the T in L&E. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.